This bomb, Josh, it was never truly did they think that they were going to use it. Like it was a
Right.
it was a scare tactic. Like
Right.
we got this thing, we'll hang it over the Iraqis' head to kind of
Right.
get them to do what we want them to do because it's
Right.
such a what's the term for it, Josh? It's so indiscriminate.
Yeah.
It's just everything.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so the way most conventional bombs work or don't work or whatever you want to say is you drop that bomb on the ground and you lose like 80% or 70%, a huge amount of that destructive effect goes into the ground, right? So the ground takes a huge, you see bomb craters, so the MOAB was designed to do something different. It's so big that it has to be dropped from a cargo plane. It's on a pallet, and the pallet is on a parachute. So they drop the pallet and they drop the parachute, and it sort of drifts gently downwards. And at a certain point, it gets targeted and it rockets off the pallet at its target. It's got a pole on the end that sticks into the ground. And when it hits the ground, you don't have the MOAB is so destructive, not because it gives that bomb impact to the ground, but it explodes outward in every direction.
Oh God.
Which is why it's so destructive and why it's so indiscriminate. I mean, the military had the nerve today of saying, oh, yes, it was a surgical attack. What are you talking about? A surgical attack with a bomb with a blast radius of a mile?
Wow.
Do you understand that a blast radius of a mile would completely, it would cut all the way across from the East River to the Hudson River? This is, I can't even explain my feelings about this because it's so horrific to think that this is what we're doing because this is not a game, and this has to have a massive anti-war outcry. Everybody who's listening, you have to tweet out, you have to go on your social media networks, you have to call your representatives, you have to call your media and say we do not applaud this. Wolf Blitzer acted like he loves this bomb.
Right.
I mean, this is complete insanity.
Yeah, I didn't watch Wolf, man, but I'm just, but what's his name? I think Brian Williams, the commentator for CNBC who was in love with the last bombing. He was like, writing a love song to Trump's Syria bomb, the Warhawks, the Tomahawks, I should say, and I'm thinking, like, what pissed me off, Josh, was just, I was seeing people online sort of like clap a little bit, like, sort of, and I'm not talking about like progressives or Green Party folks or independent. I mean, just like diehard Trump people and warmongers who were like, well, we had to do something. And it's sort of that attitude, that psyche that they think that they're on a team or like this is us against them.
I know. And I got on Twitter too. And people were saying, oh, grow a pair and be a man and all this. Yeah. I am so sorry. Being a man has to do with being compassionate and reconciled with yourself and peaceful and caretaking. Being a man is not killing innocent women and children from an airborne Holiday Inn 30,000 feet in the sky where you don't even know what destruction you're having on the impact on the ground. That has got to be the most cowardly act I've ever heard of. And to think, that we are, look, for 15 years, we have heard that the only way to stop terror is to drop bombs and to create more terror and to kill more people, to create wars. And for 15 years, all that strategy has done is create more terror and create more terrorists and create more orphans and create more deaths. And when we pay our taxes, we are paying for those bombs. 15, 16 years of a total failed strategy. It's time to do something else. And Malala, the Nobel Prize-winning youth who was shot in her school in Afghanistan, said, if you want to stop the war, send teachers instead of bullets, instead of soldiers. Send books instead of bombs. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people will make fun of that and say, oh, go try to hug ISIS, you'll get beheaded. That's not what I'm trying to say. To be honest, the way you destroy an enemy based on hate is love of the people who are not in that category.
Right.
You have to surround those situations with love. Afghanistan was a country that had people in the 60s, in hookah bars and women walking through the streets in miniskirts. It was a liberated bohemian country until the Cold War came and we fueled both sides of that conflict. We created Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. We created ISIS in the Middle East through this militaristic strategy. If we had sent trillions of dollars in cultural support and in aid to Iraq and to Afghanistan, instead of trillions of dollars of military and bombs, we would have two allies right now in a crucial region. We would have millions of people less that are still alive and not dead, and we wouldn't have all of this terror and instability. This is an incredible, foolish strategy.